7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow is deployed. Full course yellow is deployed.
Yes, hello everybody. And welcome to this thing that we call Full Course Yellow. If I can just bring this up, they have changed everything on this thing at the moment. There we go. I'll try that one, and then
Streaming
I'll try
service.
this one here. No, that's doing absolutely no. There we go. Now that's working, so I can say hello and welcome back to a brand new season of Full Course Yellow, coming to you from the corporate headquarters of In Pit Lane here high above beautiful Lake Geneva and beyond the suburban curtain. We're back for another year again. It's good to have you back. Motor racing starting to crank up again. Boy, did it crank up on the weekend with the Asian Le Mans series. If you haven't seen that race, look, do yourself a favour. Find yourself some time. Find yourself 4 hours to have a look at the second race, or at least even the last 1 hour of it, which was absolutely insane. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on. A lot of the people involved in that particular event. Just about to, after next week's round, we'll be heading down to Australia for the Bathurst 12-hour, which is shaping up to be the biggest Bathurst 12-hour we've had in many a long year. Also coming up on the program, Formula One is back, sort of. The cars went to Barcelona for a not a test, definitely. Whoa, definitely not a test. It was a shakedown. A shakedown is not a test. Repeat, not a test. That's just to make sure that the good people of Dubai realise that it was in fact not a test, because they've got a contract. So so we'll talk about that. We've got the new cars have been debuted for we've had a look at most of them. We've seen them, we've sort of heard them in bit dribs and drabs. We'll be finding out what people think of them, including yourself, a little bit later on in the program. But right now, let's have a look at who's joining us. The president of the Alice Buckley fan club, and what we'll be hearing from Alice Buckley as well a little bit later on the program, is Mark Jones, all the way from Queensland. G'day, Jonesy, how are you?
I am feeling fantastic. I'm fired up for season 2026. It's going to be a fabulous year ahead. I'm looking forward to everything about it.
It is. I mean, it's good to be back. I mean, especially and Pete, I imagine that you will be very happy that it's back. Because I mean, like for I think for Jonesy and certainly for me and Doc, I mean, we've got. We have cricket and tennis and other things to keep us warm, but I gather that a bit like Richard Outram, cricket and tennis are not high on your list.
Tennis is, but
okay,
yeah, but the rest of it, not so much.
Okay, we'll do a tennis show, you and I, later on, Pete. I'm here from Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, Doc is frozen at the moment. We're not sure why Doc is frozen, but you
I'm
can
doing
hear
a
him.
Marcel Marceau from Gilligan's Island tonight. No, look,
You're frozen.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let it go.
Oh, yeah,
Let it go.
Do the Disney. Go
Yeah,
on.
certainly.
Anyway, at least I've got a good mate Valentino in the background with me as well, though, too. Now, look, I can't be any more excited about, as you just mentioned, Brett. We do have a beautiful couple of lead-up events. We had Dubai and we've got Abu Dhabi as well, too. We're going to slot in between, and with 32 GT3 cars entered in a week and a bit's time, and it's 12 nations. I'm going to actually, had a quick look right now. I did this while the 2 minutes of the promo was going on. 12 brands, most brands since 2019, 32 GT3 cars, defending winners WRT, which I'd like Mark to elaborate on in a few minutes' time about his 12, as I said, 12 nations. So, first McLaren since 2020 as well too. There you go. There's a little rollout.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic event. I mean, I was really worried. I mean, things were a bit quiet with all the other events going on around this time of year now. Particularly there's new ones in the Middle East. There's existing ones here. The Asian Le Mans series. We've got the very close proximity of Daytona as well. Although there's a bit more of a gap this year, thankfully. But either way, I mean, it's a very very busy part of the year now for GT racing, the sports car racing, and I really was worried that we might see a real drop off at the Bathurst 12 hours, but to the credit of everybody involved in making it happen, it's a fabulous. It's a fabulous turnout of cars and drivers, and we've got, of course, the big news is a lot of people have said, it's like, a lot of the older guys and a lot of the people who aren't into sports car racing went, well, there's no Fords, there's no Chevs, you need the Ford versus the Ford versus GM stuff.
I get it.
We've got it. We've got it this year. You like American muscle? Well, we've got it. We've got a Mustang, and we've also got Corvette as well.
You're going to get the premiums, Brett. The premium, the cream of the crop.
Yeah, so really all we're missing out on is we've got one older Lamborghini, but we don't have the new Lamborghini yet. It hasn't debuted as yet, but hopefully we'll see that next year.
I should have made an offer to Andrew Madecki for his car when we caught up with Sound a few months ago. I brought that up on the last full course yellow last year, and I'd said to you last week, Brett, and no one else is. I don't think no one will quote me on this, but they'll probably be thinking about it. It is the biggest year since Bentley won. And the guy that's got the best Bentley in the whole of Australasia at the moment, and he's got it sitting in a little tucked away at the moment. It is for sale. Is Andrew Madecki's got that Continental?
Is that the ex-Bailey car?
Mm-hmm. Yep. The trouble is, though, you body rub it against something and try and get a part for it these days, I bet.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with some of these cars. They become so valuable, but they become even more valuable now, of course, these older cars, because of the historic, and it sounds bizarre to say historic GT3 competition, but when you look back at it, you think that, hang on, there was, the Dodge Viper was a GT3 car, and Morgan there was a whole bunch of cars that you just forgot were actually GT3 cars from back when the category started, that are now being sort of wheeled out and coming out of the woodwork, and we'll be racing in Europe later on in the year. So these cars.
Yeah, second weekend of April they kick off at Paul Ricard.
Yeah, so and there's been some very considerable interest in racing those cars. Looks like they're going to have a good field for that as well. We're sort of talking about one thing we should talk about with the Bathurst 12 hours is. If you're thinking, well, I'm not going up there, but don't worry, I'll sit at home and I'll be able to watch it on Channel 7. You won't, because it will not be on Channel 7 this year. It will be pay TV only. Foxtel KO will be the only place you can get it, unless of course you have a VPN and know how to use it. So that you can go and check the YouTube live stream. But at this stage, there is no coverage no free-to-air coverage of the Bathurst 12 hour this year for the first time that I can remember in a long time. So very disappointing, unfortunately. So anyway, we've got this. We must say hello. We've got some of the originals, but Box caught up with Box at Sandown at the Revival there. So good day to you. Well, good to see you back with us again. Also, speaking of Bathurst, good day from Brad Gordon from the Shakedown crew. If you're into sports cars and GT cars, particularly with things happening up at Bathurst. The Shakedown crew, they'll be up there in force, and they always have they've sort of taken over the night of at the pub at the Oxford on Friday night.
Brad's very good at dad jokes. This is his side gig, and taking out the good half out to dinner. We like to see those posts, and especially Brad or someone had a post up today. I just recall I had 2 minutes when I was at Bunnings somewhere today with work, and the announcement of the 3 Ford Mustang drivers will be making a guest appearance at the Shakedown get-together at the Oxy as well too. Whoa. Thank you, Brad, for reminding me that.
Yeah, well, there you go. So if you're interested in that, check out their Facebook page and get the details of that. And it's always sort of, everybody sort of gets together. They always get a few drivers along, sort of officially, but also unofficially. Usually John Hindhoff and the Radio Show Limited team get down there as well. That's sort of where it started years ago. It was sort of a get together for the listeners of Midweek Motorsport. And I think the first year we did it, there were probably about 12 of us there. There's a lot more than 12 now. It was quite chaotic last year. So basically take over the whole pub on Friday night. So
And a quick one, a shout out to all the flaggies and the marshals and the volunteers. They get together in the pubs in the lead up to the event as well too. So that's huge. I usually go make the effort and get down on one of those nights and have a dinner with. Let's just say a good friend of the family, Brett's best friend, one of Brett's best friends, Christian. So he dragged me down many years ago to the volunteers dinners, and they are just lots of fun as well.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about the Bathurst 12A. If you haven't been before, it's probably the only one. I mean, I'm really sort of going out. I'm doing sort of all the wrong things, and I've been told, like, don't do this because of my health and all the rest. But I'm getting to Bathurst. I'm actually camping. There will be no full course yellow next week because I will be halfway between here and Bathurst next week. And I'll be up on top of hopefully by Wednesday, Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday evening, I'll be up on top of the mountain at Reed Park. And that's where I'll be settling in for the 5 days, watching it all and settling in, because it's a great event, but it's also a great community event. It's just it's got that touch of Le Mans about it, where it's the hardcore fans, it's the hardcore it's not your sort of once a year let's go to Bathurst and get pissed and watch some cars crash. It's people who love the sport, people who appreciate and understand the sport, and they go up there and have a terrific time. The interesting thing is, the first time I camped there was over probably 12 years ago. I think it was 12 years ago now, down in the paddock, because that was the only campground that was open, and it was less than half full. This year, camping is sold out, paddock is sold out, Reed and Sulman is sold out, McPhillamy Park sold out, over 2,000 camping spots, not people, 2,000 camping sites gone. That shows you how much this race has grown. So that's pretty remarkable to see how big it's become. Okay, so Doc is heading up there as well, so we'll be sending back some information. Keep an eye out on the In Pit Lane Facebook page and also the YouTube channel in the long term. We'll be filing reports and chats with drivers and chats with all sorts of people, as well as sort of regular reports, perhaps sort of some afternoon live stuff from the top of the mountain or the bottom of the live stuff. We'll see what we can do.
Love doing the live stuff with Brett. We do a run along the pits quite well and have a bit of fun sometimes. And
I don't think we'll be doing that at Bathurst sometime. I don't think Foxtel will be too keen for us to. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, we wouldn't want to get too many ratings above that.
But anyway, we'll go there. There you are, Toyota cars in the Bathurst race. Well, that's certainly in the 1,000. I mean, they will probably be there, because if you have a look at the schedule, there are some supercar tests going on each day, on Friday and Saturday at least, in the morning and in the late afternoon. There is scheduled for supercar testing. Now, I'm assuming that we will see at least one of the Toyotas out there.
The whisper is, Brett, it's going to be a focus on the Toyotas.
Well, there you go. Well, that would make sense. I mean, you can imagine they'd be very, very keen to get those cars out.
So the whisper is they might be more predominant than some of the other manufacturers that are doing laps and runs and the exhibition.
Also, speaking of which, if you're down here in Victoria, I mean, Mark, you've already seen the first launch of the year, which was Dick Johnson Racing. They've had their launch up in Queensland, up your way, but they're coming up this Saturday, and unfortunately they're clashing, so you sort of can't go to both, and they're on totally different sides of the bay. But over in Geelong, the Geelong Revival people and the Sandown Revival people are the team who are organising the debut of the Triple Eight Mustangs, and they're making a big Ford day of it. It's going to be down at the regular sort of venue, big public event happening on the foreshore at Geelong. Of course, Geelong very much Ford country for many, many years, and they're bringing down everything, and all the drivers will be down there, and as well as a lot of classic Fords, a lot of classic Ford race cars and road cars that'll be down there this Saturday morning. Over this side of town, in fact, about sort of 5 minutes as the crow flies from me, down at Penrite's headquarters.
Yeah. Oh, did you know that before I sent that to you, Brett?
Oh, yes. That's been very well publicised, and they'll get a huge crowd. The last time they did something like that, they got a massive crowd.
I've done one with you. I've done a couple on my own. Yeah, they. Oh, the Shembries used to be involved because Penrite was their karts as well too. So, yeah, they get food trucks there, and it goes for a few hours.
Yeah, it's going pretty much all through the morning. They're having a cars and coffee day, so there'll be lots of really cool cars turning up to you for you to have a look at. But also they're using it to unveil the Penrite, the Grove Racing Penrite cars, and all of the drivers will be there, including Will Davison and the endurance team. They'll be all out there. Not sure at this stage what my plans are for getting out there, but probably, because as I said, it's just around the corner. But I mean, the last time I went, there was no way you could get a car parking space anywhere. I mean, I parked probably sort of 2 kilometres down Greens Road, and it was a hot day, and I just looked back and went, no, I'm not lugging the camera all the way back there, and so I just sort of turned around and came back home again. But
Glenn Ridge usually gets. I used to catch up with him. He tiptoes around a little bit, and we have a chat. So look, keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big day. So all of the teams are starting to unveil. I haven't heard anything about official unveilings for Toyota and from Walkinshaw Racing. Walkinshaw, of course, just round the corner from me as well. But it's very hard to get any information out of.
Actually, if they're around the corner from you, they're inside my backyard, if you call it that way, because they're in Taylor's Road now.
Yeah, so it's a huge place that they've got. So obviously they've got some really, really big plans outside of motorsport as well, in terms of their whole engineering division, because that is a massive.
Actually, a fun fact is I went past their Westall base the last couple of weeks many a time, and all the branding has gone, but there's still one great big transporter park down the side of it. It's fun. It's like they haven't left Elvis has not left the building quite yet, but
I'm wondering especially because it's a bit more built up, whether they'll be still able to go out and do a bit of running of the car around. It's a shame Richard isn't with us, because Richard actually lived in that street, and Richard will tell you many times when he heard a very loud engine at some looked out the front window and saw a particularly colourful Commodore or a colourful
in Westall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Richard in Clayton used to be just literally, round the corner, and they'd go round the block and just have a bit of a.
Well, when I pull up for work, if I look the right angle, I can almost see the factory. But if they're worried about doing any private testing, there's a lot of people that do private testing around the industrial estate where I work anyway, because there's plenty of tyres left behind and remnants of tyres left behind, and they.
Well, it is the venue of the Dandy Drags. I mean, that whole area is. They've been running illegal street races around that area.
I think I get to work in the morning just after their queue finishes.
Getting back to Richard living there, Neil Crompton actually talks about that in his biography, where they used to do testing around that factory.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I certainly did. I did see it once. I came past, because you used to go past, of course, in the train. And on one occasion, a couple of weeks before a round, I looked down and I saw I saw a car go around, and it was only a couple of years ago. It was Chaz Mostert, and or Chaz Mostert's car anyway. Sort of, it wasn't going particularly fast. It was just sort of motoring up and down the car park sort of thing, and doing so. It was interesting to see that there, but they're sort of a little bit more out of the way now in one respect. But it's such a huge venue. There's no hiding it, and it's interesting. A lot of people have said, "Oh, will we get a chance to have a look around, and will you have an open day or something like that?" And at the moment, the word from Walkinshaw is no. It's not open to the public and won't be open to the public. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But it's very hard to get anything out of Walkinshaw. Walkinshaw have been really difficult to deal with the past few years. They're the one team that I've rung them I've actually rung them on a number of occasions and say, hey, we don't get any PR or anything from you, and they go, no, you don't, and they hang up. So that's
I think I might have to take a drone to work and just give it a test run for a few days.
Yeah, that's it. Jared saying the Premier looking at moving maybe into GT with Jess Day. I'm not sure what Jess's plans are. That was interesting. She just she hadn't been there all that long, and it was obviously a really important gig. And the next thing it knows that she's been replaced and hasn't made any announcements.
She's resigned for a very, very big reason,
which is
she's pregnant.
Well, I haven't seen that announced officially.
That's clickbait.
I reckon they got their first baby on the way, and she's taken some time away, and she's done it on her own terms.
Well, that's it's like, look, it's possible. It's quite feasible that it could be that, and if it is, congratulations to Shane and Jess. But apart from that, I mean, there's been no official announcements in that respect. But then you wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, because Shane is a very private person, and Jess pretty much the same. And they may be of the opinion of hey, this has got nothing to do with car racing. It's nobody else's business. Whether she's having a kid or not. So if she is, and that's the reason why, good on them. But if it's not, and there's another reason, well, good on them again.
I'm going to look at a positive spin on it for the time being and think, well, that's what they're doing on their own terms, just keeping to themselves.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, let's chat a bit about Formula One, what we've seen from Formula One. Pete, we'll start with you. I mean, new cars, new power plants, a lot of things. I think for a start, I don't know about you, I think the cars do look better.
Yep, they do look better, but you can't glean from Barcelona any times or anything.
No, I mean they originally said they weren't going to put out anything, but you knew that wasn't going. You knew that anybody did whoever did the fastest time, their sort of unofficial, was going to leak it, and then sort of the other times would come out as well. So,
well, F1 did their own at the end of each day. They got Jakesy on, and they did an 8 to 10 minute wrap of it anyway. So rather than look at all the bootleg stuff, which I messaged you about, I'd do each day. I'd have a look at everything, the stuff that Formula One released officially, take away the glamour and the gloss and all the BS, and have a look at the bootleg stuff. I think if the race got across there, that a couple of them went on the mountain and drove around the circuit heaps and looked in all the squirrel spots and got kicked out by security and mucked around, but they did a bit of fun. They wanted to hear what it sounded like, and they've got positive vibes on the sound. So, look, you got to look what Jakesy was doing each day. As I said, read between the lines and look at what it is. Look at the number of laps they've done. I think each team, except for the Domino's team, I can't remember what their real name is, but Domino's, they deliver anyway, real pizzas. The other teams were very, very happy, except Aston Martin cut it fine. They actually admitted it. We just got the car there for 3 days. We didn't think we were even going to make it, but they got it there. I mean, Cadillac can say they've had a couple of years in planning, so it all went to thing. But the amount, all the drivers, even Lewis gave us lots of good feedback and vibes. I don't know, maybe Kim Kardashian's got something to do with the rumours that are going on there. So, but yeah, they're all, the huge amount of laps they did. They got some race simulating, lots of laps, lots of testing, lots of days. They were all very chipper, especially the drivers and the team leads and principals, on saying that we got more running and productivity and feedback than what we want. And I suppose you look at
I think that
Ferrari,
was the. I think
yeah,
that was
Ferrari
the
and
interesting
Mercedes have
thing.
got their head above water with the combustion.
I think
And
that's
they said that last year. They said we're on top of it last year. With the new rules, they said we're on top of it.
and that's probably the surprising thing, because a lot of the talk about the reason for all the secrecy is that they said also, being that they were new rules, new cars, new engines, and all the rest of it, they were sort of expecting that there'd be some considerable sort of some teething problems, and we'd have a lot of breaks and a lot of cars being towed in from the, and really absolutely none of that really happened. I mean, there were a couple of Isaac Hadjar managed to
That
put
was
into
that was the only significant one. None of the others were.
There was crashes. There were crashes, but no reliability.
Nothing major that worried about. So that's a good sign. You can certainly tell the Aston Martin is an Adrian Newey car. It's got lots of
With rear suspensions different to everybody else.
yeah. There's lots of the very high cut, very high radiator and narrow radiator input, which a lot of people are saying that they think might get changed, because a lot of engineers are saying, oh, it looks great, but I wouldn't want to be racing on a hot day in Bahrain or Melbourne or Barcelona or something on a really hot day with that small an intake. But they also had a very interesting sort of exhaust from the radiators as well. It was very different to what everybody else is doing. The interesting thing is also Aston Martin and Mercedes have both mounted their front wings in a very different way. I mean, you have a look at those, you were worried about the fact that all the cars are going to look the same again. At the moment, in terms of fine details, they don't. And one of the major things is where they're mounting their front wings. And both Mercedes and Aston Martin have chosen to do it pretty much differently to everybody else, and have mounted on the I think it's on the second element. Whereas everybody else has gone for the third element, because the element that where it isn't mounted is the one that's going to be using the active aerodynamics. So it's going to be interesting once they get out there and they test properly, and once they start racing, how long those differences last, because it's going to be one of those things where if it works really well, everybody else is going to say, okay, we need to change our design, we need to change our mounting as well.
Watch out for I reckon watch out for
protest.
Watch out for Alpine with the new Merc engines this year, because if Mercs have got their power plant right, and they're one of the top three, and they're a customer for those engines, if they can just tweak those aero, well, whether it be the pods or the intake, outtake brakes, whatever like that, the whole works. If Alpine can actually get something together, and they've got that Merc output, that is, and same with Audi. Audi are running the Ferrari engines as well too. So, Audi's first year, technically, the disbanded Sauber name, so they've got a lot there. A couple of the manufacturers, I'm not going to go into the details, have got new aero tunnels. So brand spanking new aero tunnels that are like state of the art, and they can find stuff that they haven't been able to find before aerodynamically and technologically. So it's got as they said, maybe a second or two behind the pace on last year what they finished up, but by mid-year, by the end of the year, they almost say for sure they've found it all in different development.
Oh yeah, they've already said, like George Russell has already said, that in a straight line, he said he's never driven anything faster. He said once you kick in that electric boost from the car, he said, and you've got both engines working to 100%. He said I've never been in anything anywhere near as quick. He said the speed is scary.
So which driver can adapt to those three pressure points the quickest?
the interesting thing is, I mean, some people are saying already, I mean, Martin Brundle is saying that from what he's heard and from what he's seen, he's really confident that Oscar's going to do very well, because he said Oscar didn't get a lot of running, he said, but he was apparently very consistent. He was quick straight out of the box. He was very, very consistent until he had some engine problems, and he said everyone was saying, oh, you know, Piastri's looking good, and he's going to be a lot more ruthless. He's got a whole year behind him. He's got all the politics from last year. Sort of, he knows his place now. He knows where he sits in the pecking order, and he's going to take no prisoners. So I suppose we look forward.
He's a really good development driver as well. So that's
that's what they need. I mean, that's one of the reasons for Cadillac getting. And people say, well, why did they get sort of, you know, Bottas and Perez when they could have had some younger guys and brought up some new talent? And it's like, well, the new talent aren't going to be able to develop new cars. I mean, we want people who have driven, you know, Formula One cars recently and who understand them, who understand the whole testing and development process. And clearly, they've got a couple there in Valtteri and Sergio. So yeah, going to be interesting when the.
I'll quickly read out, because I won't go to the site, but there's some quick explanations on the new 3 different modes that the drivers can use, and it's probably going to take a race or two even for the avid fan, probably, unless they study it like crazy. So the overtake mode replaces the drag reduction system, or the DRS, which was, and that we used to have segments around the track, and it used to be activated when you would then win a second of the vehicle in front of you. That's which has been used since 2011 as a primary passing aid, previously known as the manual override mode. Okay, won't go into the details how it works. Boost mode, a driver-operated energy deployment tool drawn from the energy recovery system, and that is 50% of working with the internal combustion engine these days. And the active aero is a dynamic adjustment of front and rear wing elements, and those front ones, those 2 elements, as Bert was just saying before, are going to make a huge difference to someone like Adrian Newey on how they can develop that and how they can wash it. And also too, the new sideboards have got as well too. I've noticed myself. It's funny. It hasn't been mentioned much, but the covers that used to go over the wheel arches, the covers almost like Model T things over your wheels, they've completely been eradicated and disbanded. We all knew that well until last year. But everyone's trying to find a way on how to divert the air aerodynamically around the vehicle as well too, to still get that effect. And at the same time, the reason, of course, the F1, those regulations were introduced was, of course, to stop the wash from other cars, so you actually can get, there's more opportunity to pass and not as much side draft.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. And when you have a look at those bargeboard, if you haven't done it, if you don't subscribe to him on YouTube, go and search for Kyle Engineers. His YouTube channel, Kyle Engineers, Australian guy, was an aerodynamicist for Mercedes F1, has come back to Australia now and basically applies his trade sort of freelance around, does a lot of time attack cars, a few hill climb specials, just basically sort of, you know, aerodynamicist for hire sort of thing. And he has a lot of very, very, very in-depth analysis of the photos and things that those photos are telling him as an experienced aerodynamicist with experience in the world of Formula One. Now, as he points out, as he said, and without seeing the actual, you know, wind tunnel data, and without seeing, you know, getting more stuff with the flow vis and all the rest of it, you can't. It's very hard to make sort of, you know, you're making educated guesses, you're making assumptions as to. But he knows enough about it to know, okay, this is why that's there. I mean, and they're little things, they're tiny little. It's like it's that big, but he says, well, that's going to come in and create a vortice. Instead of the vortices going that way, it's going to go that way, and that's going to suck in air from there, and that's going to create a. So it's fascinating to watch the detail of just, you know, how aerodynamically advanced these cars are, and it's fascinating. So Kyle Engineers is the YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, do check it out. G'day to Roy. Roy's joining us again from Motorsport Archives and our sponsor on In Pit Lane with Online Invent. G'day, Roy. How are you? Roy, are you going up to Bathurst at all this year? No, he's been up a few times. Hadn't been up there because I think the last time that Roy went up there, that was the year I missed out because of the shoulder. So having the broken shoulder, so I didn't make it that year. But I'm wrapping myself in cotton wool at the moment. I'm not. I was supposed to go to the. I'm very nervous going to the gym at the moment. I'm sort of I'm lifting very, very, very low weights.
And we've installed airbags all around the gym at various solid objects, just to make sure that if Brett trips at any point, he'll have something to bounce off of.
Well, actually,
just putting on one of those blow-up sumo wrestling suits.
Yeah, I'm actually talking to someone today, and I pointed out. They said, did you fall over? I said, no, I haven't fallen over, Mum. I said, yeah, there was I broke the elbow and I broke the shoulder and I did the knee and I did this and it's like, no, actually, I have fallen over a lot quite recently. So, yeah. Roy's saying no, not you. Doing local events, heaps of speedway on. Yeah, Roy's going to go to a Motorsport Archives. Roy's doing a lot of local speedway stuff. Really cool. Really good. 3 local events this month. I must admit, I'm going to unfortunately miss out. Calder Park this Friday next Friday for Fast Friday. I always keep saying, both at the track and here on Full Course Yellow, if you've got a bike, bring your bike out because you'll get lots and lots and lots of rides. The last meeting we did have a lot. It was the best turnout of bikes we'd had in a long time. Well, it's going to be even bigger this time round because a couple of clubs have got right behind, and it's going to be a huge turnout of bikes. So if you've got a bike and you want to take it out and give it a run, give it lots of runs down the Calder Park quarter mile in both drag racing and roll racing, head out there. Not this Friday, the Friday afterwards. And unfortunately, as I said, I'll be up at Bathurst, so I won't be out there commentating, which is a shame in a way because. Well, it's a shame in 2 ways. One, I won't get paid, and number 2, it's going to be one hell of a big meeting. Okay. The jurors say Active Aero looks. If it works and nothing gets jabbed, that was the reason they banned movable aerodynamic devices in the first place, because they were back in those days they were prone to failure. And you can imagine if you're heading down sort of at Silverstone and you've got and suddenly you hit the brakes and the aerodynamics and all of the wings don't suddenly go pop and pop up. There's potentially going to be some massive crashes.
Well, it sort of harkens back to the early 70s and the days of those activated those movable aerodynamic high wings that they had and were banned pretty much within a year of them appearing. There was a big accident one year at the Spanish Grand Prix, which back in those days was held in was a street race in a public park in the middle of Barcelona, and then of course we had like the whole one of the whole things about the objections to the fan cars that at the end of the 70s was, well, what happens when the fan fails and they lose all of that suction underneath the car.
And that's how they got rid of the fan cars, both the Chaparral and the Alfa Romeo later, is that they said, well, the wings are movable aerodynamic device, the blades of the fan are movable aerodynamic devices, and specifically at the time, the FIA had a blanket ban on movable aerodynamic devices, so they could ban that, which was interesting because people who are old enough would remember a guy called Ross Matheson racing here in Victoria. Ross used to race he was a Qantas pilot from memory, and he used to race a Porsche in sports sedans and production sports cars. And one weekend at Sandown, I went round there, and he had some very interesting wheel hubs, which had sort of louvers in them. And I was looking at them, and I could see what they were sort of doing, or what the intention was for them to do. And I was quite interested. And I said, Has anybody sort of jumped up and down yet about these being movable aerodynamic devices? And he went, oh, no, he said, that's no, they're not going to do that. Well, they went on the Sunday and they were gone.
Imagine the scrutineers may have jotted some notes down pretty much immediately.
Hey, Lidgy, yeah, back in Bangkok again. Half your luck. I mean, you'll get there. I'm having yellow curry tonight, and I think, but you'll be able to get it a lot cheaper and a lot better than anything that I can get at the moment. Thailand is just the motorsport scene over there has just gone incredibly big. I would really love to go over and have a look at that. That's because they do live stream pretty much everything they run over there now with the Thailand Super Series. And the racing is fantastic. Lots of TA2 stuff. TA2 working everywhere, which is interesting. Speaking of
they've
TA2,
got a team that runs the Nürburgring, a Toyota-supported team running in the NLS. The last few years, of course, Alex Albon in Formula One's a big flag waver for them as well. And I guess that's something we didn't mention before about in the F1 stuff was Williams was a notable absentee.
Yeah, they were.
I did mention it. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Well,
I did mention it. I just said Domino's. I said
Domino's. Yeah, sorry, I did make that connection immediately.
Domino's connection. Yes, I said Domino's have reached out and asked if they need some help delivering.
You're right. I'm sorry, my bad.
But the I think the thing is the scene over there has really taken on. It's taken so long. I remember going over for the races at Ordos in Inner Mongolia and talking to a lot of the people involved in Asian motorsport, and they were all saying the same thing. They just said, at the moment there is just no wide stream interest and no interest from the public. It's very, very niche market. There are no crowds. There's no culture for motorsport amongst the public. But now they're starting to get big crowds. They're getting younger and younger drivers and things like the Asian Le Mans Series, and we'll get onto that in a moment. But we did mention TA2 and somebody who's going to be very busy this year because she's going to be continue driving in the TA2 Muscle Car Series with 6 rounds, but also announced today is a full campaign for the Dunlop Super 2 Series, and that's Alice Buckley. Mark Jones, as I said, he's been the fan club for Alice since her Excel days, and she's certainly come on a million miles an hour. Now, they did, as I said, they did announce it today. Their Pete's disappeared for the moment, but while he's coming back on again, we'll catch up with Alice with a bit of her story, and we can have a look at the car that she'll be driving in this year's Dunlop Super 2 Series, as well as her drive in the TA2, continuing driving the TA2 Muscle Car Masters with AASA.
My motorsport journey started when I was 7 years old. Dad got me into go-karts and I absolutely fell in love with it straight away. I have 2 older sisters that didn't quite fall in love with it like what I did, but myself and my little brother did, and we've been karting for the last 10 years, and I've been so lucky to have my family so involved, and from go-karts, karted for 12 years and then made my way to XLs. I went and represented Australia as the first female to compete in the FIA Girls on Track program. I came back to Australia, drove in the 86 series, and then made my way to TA2 last year, debuted and won on debut. So we've decided to make the jump to Super 2 this year. It's really exciting program, really exciting journey. My goals for going to Super 2, obviously, I want to get Rookie of the Year, it being my first year, but if I can get in the top 10, I will be absolutely stoked. The overall goal for me is to get to Supercars. It's always been a dream since I was a little kid, racing for James Courtney and his go-karts back in the day. And I've always looked up to it, and it's been an absolute dream. And to get into Super 2 is incredible. It's been a really exciting journey with the acknowledgement I get, not only on social media, but in general at the racetrack. Everyone's been very supportive of not only having a young female, but a young female that's getting some good results at the moment. So I've been very fortunate of the sport in motorsport and circuit racing have been very accepting and pushing for me. So that's been awesome.
Yeah, she's done very very well in TA2. I mean, she's there. Mark, you've been watching her, as I said, since she first started, and she seems to tick all the boxes. I mean, because we've had we've had lots of young women before who have come in and been very very talented, and we thought that they'd go and they'd take the next step, but they've never quite been able to do it. Whereas she's very, very young. She's had good results. Her mind seems to be in the right place. I mean, she's very good in front of a camera without being sort of an Instagram type. I mean, she's very honest. She's very straightforward. She's very comfortable in front of the camera, but she's not sort of putting on a show. And now, oh, look at me, I'm a star.
She's not trying to be an influencer at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah,
she's not too polished.
Yeah, that's it. And as Pete rejoins us, so yeah, I think that. I think the only worrying thing, I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised that it's being the car's being run by her family, with assistance and with the support of Matt Stone. But I imagine the family and Castrol, of course, are putting in the money to make it happen. I don't know why Supercars themselves, or at least one of the big teams or one of the manufacturers, hasn't jumped on and grabbed hold and said, okay, we are taking this as far as it'll go, because the boost it would be for the sport to have a young woman at the front of Supercars, dueling it out and being in contention with the guys would be massive.
There is a bit of support from GM there, that's part of her. Chevrolet's on board with the TA2 car, and she's been teaming with Jared Hughes in their TA2 racing, and Jared's an established name in just that, just below top tier of Australian motorsport, and she's got Tim Slade in her corner as well as a driver coach. There's quite a lot of good people around them, and of course Matt Stone and goes grown up in the sport, and they're quite the operation down there on the Gold Coast these days. MSR, so there's a lot to look forward to here. She's jumped up into the top space quite quickly, and but as you say, Brett, she's still quite young, and I think this is sometimes our top drivers can take a little bit too long to get to the top, and I think maybe that's been part of the problem with some of our emerging female talent in Australian motorsport, that sometimes it's taken them a bit longer to get to the professional levels of the sport. And
as you said, Mark, trying to get that upper echelons is always hard, because there's so many different factors, and I'm going to jump on
drivers.
I'm going to jump on, well, and they last bloody around 10, 15, 20 years, and they win one bloody championship, and they can get grants forever. But jumping on Brett's wagon, and then I'm probably looking 18 months ahead here, and the trajectory has to be in a lot of worlds have got to collide here, but a wonderful friend of the In Pit Lane family, and I do follow her from time to time. It's just on social media stuff she still does, and if I catch her at the track, I do, I don't. But Courtney Prince is also, made her way in the GT and the Porsche and the Carrera Cup and in the Challenge Series, the second tier in that. And look, and if she can still start making over the next 18 months, 12 months, still making little bit waves, you never know. If someone wants, as Brett says, if someone gives, like a manufacturer gives them a break, or a team gives them a break and says, right, Alice, we're going to put you as a wild card in the Bathurst 1000. Courtney, with her experience, would be probably just a little bit older, but would be absolutely astronomically a great team to give that crack and see if they can end up top 10.
And as Jared is saying here, Super 2 and TO run separately, and I had a look at her calendar. So she's doing both of the series. So she's going to be racing pretty much all year. She's going to get 12 meetings this year, running big V8 cars, both very different. The TA2 car, which obviously she's fairly used to after the past year, but also with the picking up the Super 2 car as well. She's running at pretty much all the major tracks, including Bathurst, probably twice, possibly twice. So
put her in a GT3. Imagine all the no downforce she's had the last 2 years, and she might be able to nail it.
But the interesting thing is, you mentioned Courtney Prince. I mean, we also can go back to people like Chelsea D'Angelo and a whole bunch of. We've had so many of them. I mean, sort of at the historic level, Abby Wingett, who's been on the show. Going back to Maddie Gray and even Leanne Tander and all that. You've had a look and you've thought, yeah, these girls are really good. But they get to a point where they sort of get to the level below, and then they just don't, usually for reasons financial, or they just can't break through to that next level. They get to sort of, Carrera Cup level or Super 2 level, and they just can't get that next boost up to be consistent winners. They might get the occasional good finish, but they don't, they don't consistently, they don't do what a Kai Allen or somebody like that has done and sort of make you go, oh, wow, that kid's good. And that's what we need. I mean, that's what she's going to have to do. She's going to have to really prove herself, and she's going to have to get out there, and she is going to, even if not this year, but certainly in the next, certainly for the year after. You hope she's got the time that she can come back in 2027 and with a year under her belt in Super 2 and give it a real crack and actually start winning races to the point where they're going to have to say, oh, listen, she knows she is the real deal. She's really good, and we're just going to have to put her into something.
Toss into that as well, like the formerly Gold Coast-based Kiwi Madeline Stewart, who's been on the YouTube streams just in the last couple of weeks. She's over in the US these days. She did the US Carrera Cup last year, and now this year she's co-driving in the, I want to say, the Pilot Challenge, the GT4 versus TCR series over there, and she did the, I guess, the big support race to the Daytona 24-hour 2 weeks back. So there's always there's stuff going on, and we hope that and certainly very much looking forward to seeing how Alice goes this year. I mean, it's not going. Super 2s is going to be you would assume a 2-year program at least. I mean, she was talking in the grad there about, and it was also on the commercial news tonight about that she's aiming to be full-time Supercars in 4 years. So she's got sort of, I guess, realistic time expectations in that respect. That that's at least 2-3 seasons of,
and
Super 2.
hopefully she stays there, because that's been the other thing, is that there has been a thing with some of the girls who have been, and we've followed a few through karting and all that, and they're really good and they're really keen, and then just something suddenly, in their early 20s, it's like, I do it, but I'm not that. I've got other things. I've got a career that I've got to worry about. I've got other things, and they suddenly move away from it, and it's like, it's not that. It's not that real big a deal anymore if I don't make it, and they just sort of drop away. And occasionally you'll see them pop up in a co-drive situation in a minor race somewhere, or they'll pop up at a state round driving something, but they just don't seem to have that absolute.
As you said,
drive
you're looking at,
I'm going to get this. I'm going to make this happen. I don't. It's like Mark Webber always said. Like when the first time we interviewed Mark Webber, he said, I'm going to Formula One. I don't have a backup plan. I'm not going to drive Indy cars. I'm not going to drive touring cars in Australia. I'm not going to drive sports cars. I am going to drive Formula One. If I can't make Formula One, I go away.
And when he makes Formula One and he retires, I may drive sports cars
Then
for a little while afterwards, until I get
I'll
sick
pick
of
up a world championship.
But getting back to Alice, you think with the 2-year plan, she'd have to sort of like the backing, as you said, from Castrol and the teams and whoever's chipping in the 5 cents here or 10 cents there and the copper there or whatever. because it's $600,000 to $750,000, $750,000 a year on the upper echelons if you're successful. I mean, and as you get results, more people jump on and put their apples in the pie, the Granny Smiths. But you know, that's a fair outlay for this year. That they're probably, as you said, it's coming from it's a family team at this stage.
Well, there's another one, as Jared was saying,
Holly.
Espray.
Yeah, true.
In the Super Utes, I mean, she's put out a thing saying, "Hey guys, I'm not racing this year. We just don't have the money. We're trying to find the money. We're trying to find sponsors. We're trying to raise money from anywhere that we can try and raise money from. We're trying to raise it, but that we just don't have the interest. We don't have the support, and we don't have and I don't have the rich parents. I mean, there are some rich parents out there, and we know who they are." Where it doesn't matter how good or bad you are, you keep racing and racing and racing and racing because of your last name, and because daddy or uncle or somebody's got a shitload of money that they're prepared.
Oh, come on! The son-in-laws. He'll be at the Olympics this week, and he will absolutely do Australia proud.
Speaking of,
you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Who are you alluding to, Brett? Formula One?
It's not the son-in-law of Holly Espray.
No, Brett's talking about a particular green-coloured team where the owner of the team is might have something to do with the word walking or strolling or something like that. But you got to remember, the daughter's actually married to an Australian Olympic gold medalist. Remember, and has been accomplished at the Winter Olympics for decades. So Scotty's absolutely brilliant, and he just happens to be married to, and his brother-in-law is a Formula One driver.
Well, that's
Didn't you know that?
Yeah, we knew that, but we were talking about something different.
Yeah,
but still,
it did trigger the memory, of course, that Simona Di Silvestri's having her Winter Olympic debut in a few days' time,
and that's interesting. She's in the bobsled, and there is a history of racing drivers, but it always happens sort of the other direction. We had Johnny Cicotto raced in there. Now this is the, and I don't have the definitive answer to this, but this is a trivia question for you at home, because I've thought of a few already. The connection between Olympic athletes, particularly Winter Olympic athletes, but just Olympic athletes in general, and motorsport. There has been a real crossover in many, many respects. I mean, and Simona is the latest one, but you do have people like, of course, the most successful one by far is Alex Zanardi. I mean, sort of multiple gold.
I know what the answer to your question is. It's Eddie the Eagle.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if any of the. Haven't heard.
Oh, he wasn't in your questions. Oh, damn it!
No. But Sir Stephen Hoy, the bike rider from England, Steve Bradbury, the famous. Famous.
He'll be commentating this
in
week.
saloon cars. Yeah.
Yeah, so he raced.
He'll be on Channel 9 commentating this week.
And
guaranteed.
Franz Klammer, the
And
great
Alex,
downhill skier who was a touring car racer for a long time, did several seasons in DTM.
Yep, Pete.
and Alex Zanardi is a soulmate because he got his legs amputated. Now he's
he's had a bad run, unfortunately, and I haven't heard how he obviously he was very badly hurt, and that he was out training to go to another Olympics, and was probably going to pick up yet another damn gold medal again. Just an extraordinary individual, and did a great job with that as well. But yeah, there have been lots of Olympic competitors who have gone from one form of the sport to the other, or from other sports into motorsport. I mean, you can even go through, like footballers. You go, Paul Felton.
Jack Elsgood.
Oh, what's that kid that's Dixon that's currently punting for the Seahawks, who's been over there for 6-8 years? So you've got the guy that punted in the Super Bowl last year. He was an Aussie. And then you've got another Aussie in the final again this year in the Super Bowl, and he's been Dixon.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like going from
Oh, you just you start. I thought you broadened it there from one sport to another, because like track and field to winter sports, and there's been summer to winter, and there's just but
Tony Gregg raced for a few years.
What?
He did. Yeah, he got invited to do one of the Adelaide celebrity races, and the bug bit hard.
Yeah, they got there. Barry Hall.
Let's not get onto that subject of celebrity races. We can go forever on those.
But,
Wally Lewis did a few seasons in HQ racing.
Tony Gregg put the key in the track and said, "I'm not doing it. There's too many cracks."
Too many cracks. The key would disappear if he did it at Calder, but his hand would disappear if he did it at Calder.
Come on, Bill. It's not funny.
But yeah, there were lots of the thing was just Beau McCreary, the current Collingwood player, goes drag racing. We've seen him out at Calder Park on many occasions. As I said, Barry Hall, Gary Ablett, Sebastian Loeb.
What did he do, Jonesy?
Well, he's a gymnast, a very nearly Olympic level gymnast, and he was facing the choice of which sport to focus on.
That was Leanne Tander's thing too. Leanne Ferrier, she was a champion schoolgirl gymnast, and got the bug and took up motor racing instead.
And I remember
we've just turned into the in pit lane wide world of sports tonight.
And I remember Yannick Sinner in Formula 2 and 3. I actually remember him in motorsport before he transferred to tennis.
Is it the same person?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I'm going to look that one up, because obviously I've been watching him this week. Oh, sorry, last week.
Last week, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and there was also a decathlete by the name of Bruce Jenner, who moved into motor racing and raced in Trans Am.
Speaking of women in motorsport.
Trans Am, I like that.
No longer.
Yes.
Nice take, Jonesy.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, you used to be a Trans Am driver, now you're just Trans.
No longer known as Bruce Jenner, but yeah.
You laugh at that joke too, Jonesy. Good on you, mate.
But yeah, Bruce Jenner was definitely.
Don't cancel me.
Bruce Jenner was definitely among them as well. What's his name? Jason Stevenson, the 100-metre runner for Australia. He raced on a number of occasions and got into it. Was racing a Porsche. So I think he raced in the
Stephenson.
Stephenson.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. On your Pete.
Yeah, so I mean, there has been a lot of crossover.
I can't find anything on his racing, but I found, here it is, Yannick Sinner, Italian luxury brand, specifically Ferrari. His garage is reported to include an Audi RS6 ABT, Alfa Romeo Stelvio Q4, and multiple Ferraris, including a Ferrari 812 Composite Zone, and the Ferrari Purazang SUV. And here it is. Also, it says he's widely known to be shown personally tend to his vehicles. So there you go. He either does a little bit.
He's obviously a fan.
Definitely did race in F2 or F3.
Right. I've only just done the car bit. So far.
We'll see if we can track that down, because that'd be fascinating if he will. I mean, he certainly made the right choice. I mean, I must admit, when Garth and Leanne had their first child, I said something about following in the family tradition, and they said both of them said the first thing we do is we get a tennis racket in his hand. That didn't work. It obviously didn't work. So.
Well, from what I recall, both the Tander kids are very keen karters.
Both very keen karters and quite talented with it too. So yeah. Hey, anyway, that's it. Well, we better pull the plug now. Thank you everybody for joining us once again. Oh yes, we do have to say yes. We do have to very quickly, and I've got there. We did mention at the start of the show, but Jones, in 25 words or less, the last hour of the second race of the Asian Le Mans
Oh, my
Series over the
goodness.
weekend. Holy cow, what a finish.
Oh, what an amazing race! The second race, the Sunday race, the 4 hour race of LMP2s, LMP3s, and GTs. All three classes were decided by less than 2 seconds. I think when they added it up, the differences between first and second in all three classes combined added to less than 4 seconds. We had an amazing duel between around five. I say duel, but there was about 5 cars competing in the LMP2 cars for the win. Unfortunately for Romain Dumas' team, his car was right in it, was leading for late in the race, but unfortunately with 2 laps to go, they ran out of fuel, had to jump into the pits and finish 5th. Algarve Pro in the end came home with a 1-2-3 finish, having to fight their way with the Settler Racing car for the win. There was the gap actually blew out slightly. Louis Delatraz, who was driving the CrowdStrike supported car with George Kurtz on board and Malte Jakobsen, and they pulled out 1.5 seconds in the end, but that was only in the last 2 laps that the gap blew out a bit. But there was 3 of them going at
Who did
the
the
3
splash and
Algarve
dash?
cars.
Who did the splash and dash, Jonesy?
The number 30 car, the Romain Dumas limited car.
Yeah.
Tristan Vautier was the guy at the wheel. That was
Oh,
James
and
Allen's
what
car,
happened was-
just by the by.
Sorry, and you're helping here because it's obviously in the time for everyone. The 77 car, was that a electrical issue or what it was? What slowly slowed down then picked up again?
No, it wasn't the 77. 77 was one of Proton GT car.
Yep.
No, the car you're thinking of was the car, the 71, the 23 events
71,
LMP3.
70, that's right. I knew it was
Yeah.
70 something. Yeah. Did they find out what the issue was? That because that was heartbreaking again. Yep.
They didn't say. They made mention of it, but
It seemed to be one
the
of those temporary
driver
things.
who was
It just sort of went backwards, and then it sort of caught up again. But it was that was the end of its race. But and then it would have.
No. Matthias Reiber, he actually the car died. He was leading. The car died, and Lauren. Who was it? I'll need to look it up here. Morano and Lancier, I think. Oh, sorry, no, it was Jacobi in the 17 car. Both of them swept by, moved into and the 2 of them became a knock 'em down, drag 'em out battle for the win. But the 71 car rebooted, and Matthias Reiber, who was driving the car at the end of the race, hunted the 2 leaders down again, and fought his way back into the lead after losing like 10 seconds, and was able to pull out in the end again a 1.5 second lead. But that only happened in the last 2 laps, and it was an amazing chase there by Reiber in the end. His English isn't strong, and that's why we never got an explanation as to what went wrong with the car. They asked him, but he either couldn't or wouldn't explain.
Probably
he's
probably a bit like Sir Jackson's hearing problems. It's like they were selective depending on what he was on the question he was asked. I was looking at it because, as I said, I didn't watch. I ended up not being able to watch the end of it live, and they came back after you'd posted about what a race was. I watched it as Doc did, sort of the next day, and it was like, and I had lots of things to do, and I'm trying to get out and do these other things. I'm just thinking of the poor bloody television director who was sitting there and getting, like all of the feedback from the commentators going out, oh my God, it's an amazing race in LMP2, but it's even better, it's a race for the win, and look at GT3. He's going, I can't cover everything.
The LMP3 battle was enormous, and and the LMP2s was almost as good. And then we had in the GTs just behind them, we had this hour-long stern chases. Lauren Heinrich in the Chinese Origin Porsche was trying to hunt down Team WRT and Daniel Harper in the BMW M4, and they spent most of the last hour of the race just separated by a second, and Heinrich just couldn't break the
the sad part about it is Brett said we're not doing FCY next week, so we can't talk about Abu Dhabi. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
He literally jumps out the window as I speak. I didn't mean Brett. I didn't say it was that bad. But yeah,
Yeah, the series wrap.
Abu Dhabi's next week, which is going to be absolutely as mouth-watering as this, especially with the all the teams have got the bit between your teeth as well too, and got the smell of the oil rag running around. So look, that's going to be absolutely sensational. And look,
a couple of Aussies.
There
in
are
the
a
field.
couple of Aussies, and there's a couple of international drivers that they'll drive on the weekend. They will drive this week, and they'll be also driving in the B12 in a couple of weeks as well too. And we're really looking forward to that. I think it's Prince Jeffrey or someone's coming over as well. So it's going to be all. And unfortunately, as Brett said, there's going to be lots of things on this. I'm doing World Nines. I have had the call up. So
Rugby Nines.
World Nines, AFL, Aussie rules.
Oh, not AFL.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I've been.
That's right. Yeah, of course. You wouldn't be referring rugby.
No, it's
no,
the
of course. Yeah, no.
AFL version,
Nines, right?
But it is. Yeah, it is an international proper competition. It'll be a round one tournament, and I've had the illustrious call up for that, so I cannot complain. So that's going to keep me busy for all Saturday. So I'll be definitely doing replays again Sunday and catch ups like you, and trying not to pay it. If Jonesy just give us excitement on our group chat, and no results. Otherwise, it'll be spoiler alert. So very good.
I'll give you hype, but nothing concrete.
Oh, I love your hype. Love your hype. That's all good. Anyway, on behalf of Pete, do you anything else you want to finish off with? You're muted.
Oh, we lost Pete. Oh.
He's probably muted up. All good.
No,
That's
right.
all right. Well, Brett was going to catch up with us, but looks like he's done his boot, so I think we've got the free to go. And on behalf of Jonesy, Pete, Brett, myself, and all the other team like Richard and a few of the others that join us throughout the time, it's good night from all of us. Thank you, because we're still live on counting on the clock. So have a great racing weekend. Whatever you're doing, get out there, have fun, enjoy that summer weather, stay cool, stay hydrated, and